Okay, today is September 5th, 2024. We keep reading paper 114, Seraphic Planetary Government. We are going to try to finish section 1 and 2 of this paper. Section 1, the Sovereignty of Urantia. Section 2, Board of Planetary Supervisors. 今天是9月5日2024年，我们的第61次与海蒂读艺书，我们应该可以完成114篇炽天使行星政府的第一部分月染下的主权和第二部分行星监督委员会。Okay, Heidi.
But we didn't read the introduction yet, though, did we?
We read it, finished it last time.
Oh, we already finished the introduction.
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, so paper 114, Seraphic Planetary Government, section 1, the Sovereignty of Urantia. The original sovereignty of Urantia was held in trust by the sovereign of the Satania system. It was first delegated to him to a joint commission of Melchizedeks and life carriers, and this group functioned on Urantia until the arrival of a regularly constituted planetary prince. Subsequent to the downfall of Prince Caligastia, at the time of the Lucifer Rebellion, Urantia had no sure and settled relationship with the local universe and its administrative divisions until the completion of Michael's bestowal in the flesh, and Michael, you know, is Jesus, when he was proclaimed by the Union of Days Planetary Prince of Urantia. Such a proclamation in surety and in principle forever settled the status of your world, but in practice, the sovereign creator son made no gesture of personal administration of the planet aside from the establishment of the Jerusalem Commission of 24 former Urantians with authority to represent him in the government of Urantia and all other quarantined planets in the system. One of this council is now always resident on Urantia as resident governor general. You can read that, I guess.
沈丽和沈丽，
我来读。预染下的主权，预染下最初的主权由萨塔尼亚系统的君主进行托管。他最初将主权委托给了一个由墨基瑟德人和生命载运者组成的联合委员会。这个委员会在预染下一直运作到一个正规的新兴王子到来为止。在路西法叛乱时，卡里加夏王子垮台了。此后，在迈克尔完成肉身的赐予，在他被联合常在者宣布为预染下的行星王子之前，预染下与地方宇宙及其管理部门之间都没有可靠和稳定的关系。这样一个有保证、有原则的宣言永远确定了你们世界的地位，但实际上，除了成立由24位前预染下人组成的耶路瑟姆委员会，有权代表他管理预染下和系统中所有其他被隔离的星球之外，主权造物之子并没有做出任何亲自管理这个星球的动作。该委员会中的一位成员现在作为常驻总督，一直居住在预染下。
Okay. So it's just as I was saying last time, our planet is completely unique because when our prince defaulted, Prince Caligastia, in the Lucifer rebellion, Jesus Christ, who they call Michael, Christ Michael, same guy, he became our planetary prince, which is, 1 in 10 million, right? We're the only planet in the whole universe of Nevedon to have Christ Michael as our planetary prince. So he's our prince, but so that established, that settled our status. Because he's our prince, we're going to always be connected to the rest of the universe. But he doesn't really act as our prince. He set up a council of 24 former Urantians, right? Great people who lived on this earth. He set up a council of 24, and they're really sort of like, they act out, instead of a prince, we have 24 former Urantians who act as act in his instead of a prince, that we have this council of 24. And that's another unique thing. Most planets don't have a council of 24 former people who lived on the planet governing the planet.
就是耶稣基督啊，也就是一个，他也是基督迈克尔。本来呢，就是应该是他就是完成第七次赠与之后呢，他呢其实是可以，作为行星王子来统治这个地球。但是如果那样的话，我们就是星球大概就是会锚定在光与生命当中，但是呢，实际上他还没有 take， 没有就是，这个卡里加夏王子垮台以后呢，这个迈克尔他没有那个。
没有上任，还
是就是没有执行他这个职位，对，没有上任。但是呢，现在的就是管理是由24个成员，是前预言下人，就曾经在预言下生活过的24人组成的有一个耶路撒冷委员会来管理。这个也是我们这个星球它这个特别的之处，其他的星球没有说被一个委员会托管过。Heidi, you are muted, I guess.
Sorry about that. So what I forgot to say was, well, what it says here. So we are the only planet that has Christ Michael, Jesus, as our planetary prince. And the Council of 24, he set up the Council of 24, another very unique thing in the universe. Other places don't have these councils of 24 to represent him on our planet, but they also represent him on all the other quarantined planets in this from the Lucifer rebellion. So he's only the planetary prince of our planet, but this council also governs, they're sort of like high rulers, advisors, to all the other quarantined planets in our system from the Lucifer rebellion. And you know what I mean by quarantined, right? You know what I mean by quarantine, yeah. Because we never read about the Lucifer rebellion, so So what happens when you have a rebellion, a planet gets quarantined, it
Yeah.
gets cut off from the universe circuits. It's to isolate the rebellion so it doesn't spread further. You get spiritually cut off, but we're still an archangel circuit, so we still have the angels coming and going. We still have the planet, all the angels here. We still have a planetary, celestial beings can come and go, so we still have communication with the rest of the universe, but we don't have the circuits, which are like the radio signals or the TV signal. You know, they have a communication system, and we don't have access to that.
对，光是就是我们就是那个我们地方宇宙的造物者哈，就是来做这个行星王子，这一点非常特别的。还有一点呢，就是我们的星球由于路西弗叛变呢，已经成为这个隔离区的一部分，是被隔离的。所以由24个成员组成的委员会来管理，这个也是很特别的并且这个24人委员会，它同时也管理这个当地系统的，就是隔离区的这个地方系统的其他的星球。我们就是被隔离呢，就是一个灵性的，就是宇宙回路就是被掐断，但是呢也没有完全掐断，因为我们这就是上回也读到，就是大天使的回路的中心还在这里，就是天使啊，其他的灵界存有可以来去
So they say that one of the 24 is always here resident on our planet as acting as what do they call it? One of this council is now always resident on Urantia as resident governor general. So we don't really have a planetary. We have a planetary prince. It's Jesus, but he's not really acting as planetary prince in this age. But we do have this. We always have a resident governor general who is part of this council of 24.
对，就是对，就是耶稣基督虽然是我们的行星王子，但是他没有执行这个任务，然后在现在的时代，但是呢，这个24位成员当中的其中有一位一直在作为常驻总督居住在这里进行管理代理的。
And I want one really interesting thing is that when I think it was John in the Bible, one of the apostles had a vision or left his body and went to let's just say had a vision. He either went to outer space or went to a higher world or had a vision, and he saw the Council of 24. And this was before, this was before the 2,000 years before the Urantia book was written. And many people who have had near-death experiences and they haven't read the Urantia book, they have seen like a council of 24, like 24 elders. They'll actually mention that they saw 24 celestial beings, or 24 in so many words, a council of 24. They will. I've heard that, because whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh man, that's amazing, because that's what the Urantia book says. There's a council of 24. So many people have actually come back to us and said, yes, they were, they actually saw this council of 24.
对，圣经就是那里边的那个约翰是这个使徒之一吧，那个他在他的意象当中呢，就是看到就是24位这个委员会的 管理委员会的成员。这个就是2000年前呢，还有《玉苒厦之书》还没有写成之前啊，就有这个事儿。那个还有人在一些的濒死体验当中也看到了，就是24位长老，相当于24位灵性存有长老啊，在管理这个地球。
Okay, so I'll keep reading. Vicegerent authority to, we're definitely going to read 2 sections. Vicegerent authority to act for Michael as planetary prince has been recently vested in Macaventa Melchizedek, but this son of the local universe has made not the slightest move toward modifying the present planetary regime of the successive administrations of the resident governors general.
顺利第2段。
最近，马基文塔·莫基瑟德被授予了代理迈克尔作为行星王子的权利，但这位地方宇宙之子却丝毫没有改变由历任常任总督管理的现有行星制度。
Okay, so Macaventa Melchizedek is the one who came and lived for 100 years on our planet, and was the mentor, the friend and mentor of Abraham, who was the guy who started the Jewish religion and Christianity, the Muslim religion and the Jewish religion. All 3 religions start with Abraham, and Abraham was visited by Macaventa Melchizedek, and the Melchizedeks are the great teachers of the local universe. So this one, Macaventa Melchizedek, he's the very same one who came and lived on this planet before Jesus with Abraham.
马基文塔·莫基瑟德呢，就是他来这个我们星球生活了100多年，然后就是成为亚伯拉罕的朋友和指导者。然后我们都知道亚伯拉罕呢，他就是相当于就是犹太教的创始人嘛，创始级别的人物。然后其实那个犹太教啊、基督教啊、伊斯兰教啊，其实都尊那个亚伯拉罕为始祖啊。是相当于地方宇宙的老师，就是他们这个组，这个数十灵魂家族的人，他都是这个在地方宇宙当中行使这个精神导师的这些责任。
So it's interesting because it said what we just read was it said vicegerent authority to act for Michael as planetary prince has been recently, now this, this book was written 70 years ago, has been recently vested in Macaventa Melchizedek. But this son of the local, he hasn't made any changes that the way the government was set up by the Council of 24, Melchizedek hasn't made any changes. But then in the next paragraph that I'm about to read, it says there is well, I'll read it and then explain because it's a little bit confusing, but let me read it. There is little likelihood that any marked change will be made in the government of Urantia during the present dispensation. These dispensations are this planetary dispensations, and at the end of a dispensation, that's when all the sleeping survivors, are resurrected. But let me just read. There is little likelihood that any marked change will be made in the government of Urantia during the present dispensation, unless the vicegerent planetary prince should arrive, vicegerent planetary prince, that's Melchizedek, should arrive to assume his titular responsibilities. It appears to certain of our associates that at some time in the near future, the plan of sending one of the 24 counselors to Urantia to act as Governor General will be superseded by the formal arrival of Macaventa Melchizedek with the vicegerent mandate of the Sovereignty of Urantia. As acting planetary prince, he would undoubtedly continue in charge of the planet until the final adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion, and probably on into the and I'll read the next paragraph, on into the distant future of planetary settlement, enlightened life. Some believe that Macaventa will not come to take personal direction of Urantia affairs until the end of the current dispensation. Others hold that the vicegerent prince may not come as such until Michael sometime returns to Urantia as he promised when still in the flesh. Still others, including this narrator, looked for Melchizedek's appearance any day or hour.
往上一点，除非代理行，在上面是吗？对，除非代理行星王子承担起他的名义责任，否则在当前的天命时代期间，预染下的政府几乎不可能发生任何明显的变化。在我们的某些合作伙伴看来，在不久的将来的担任总督的计划将由带着预染下主权的代理委任的马基文塔莫基瑟德的正式到来所取代。作为代理行星王子，他无疑将继续掌管这个星球，直到路西法叛乱的最终裁决，并可能一直持续到行星铆定在光和生命中的遥远未来。有些人认为马基文塔要到当前天命时代的末期才会亲自领导预染下的事务，另一些人则认为在迈克尔按照他在肉身中时所许诺的那样，在某个时候回到预染下之前，代理王子本身可能都不会来。还有一些人，包括本叙述者在内，期待着莫吉瑟德随时出现。
这节就完了。
Okay, my dog wanted to go back outside.
Okay.
He doesn't usually go out twice in a row, but this time he did. So, okay, so basically, Macaventa Melchizedek, who lived on this planet, so he loves our planet. He was authorized as vicegerent planetary prince, but he didn't make any changes. He's just letting it continue the way it was set up. And he didn't come here. Usually the vicegerent planetary prince comes and takes residence on Urantia, but he hasn't done that yet.
对马基文塔麦基瑟德呢，他虽然被任命为这个代理总督啊，但是他没有来承担这个名义的责任。
So they say that most likely nothing will change. It'll keep running the way it has been for the time being until he comes. So there's little likelihood that any marked change will be made in the government advantage during the present dispensation, unless the vicegerent planetary should arrive to assume titular responsibilities. So what they're saying is that titular means title. So what they're saying is that until he actually comes here, the vice chair and planetary prince, or the acting planetary prince, is always here on a planet. So until he comes here, he's not really going to he's sort of planetary prince in name. He's not actually he's sort of letting it run the way it has been running. He's not coming down here and taking control. He's just letting it go the way it has been running.
So the Melchizedek, is he also regarded as the son of the local universe?
As a son of the local universe, did you say?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He's a local universe. The Melchizedeks are a local universe order of being, very, very high. They're the teachers. They run all the schools. We're going to have a lot of contact with them, but higher up, not in the Urantia worlds, but when we get higher up in the universe, that they run all the schools around the capital. So they're really like the college professors, the historians, but they do more than just teach. But this particular Melchizedek is very involved with our planet because he came and lived here.
我刚才就问这个墨基色德这个族，他们是称为在这个地方是不是称为地方宇宙之子？对，那个海蒂说是的，并且他们这一族他是相当于在宇宙当中呢，就是一个教师、灵性导师的责任，这样一个大学教授啊、历史学家这个角色，当然他比这个担当的责任还要更多。那个叫这个马基文塔嘛，这个墨基色德呢，宇宙之子呢，他就更多的参与我们月亮下的这个灵性进展。
There's more than one Melchizedek was involved in writing the Urantia book. A few of the authors are Melchizedeks.
就是好几个月亮下之书的作者，大概都是这个墨基色德家族的这个系列的。
So this
别的我也不知道 order 怎么翻译，就是这个种类啊，或者怎么着的，就是
这个类别或者级别类别，
这个类别的存有吧，
So this same Melchizedek who lived on our planet for 100 years is now our acting planetary prince.
对，那就是这个叫做马基文塔的这个墨基色德之子呢，他相当于就是在为我们行星的代理王子。
So what they say is they don't know when, because he's our planetary prince, he's going to come down to Urantia to rule as planetary prince, but they don't know when.
对，所以呢，他是或早或晚呢，他就是会来上任的哈，来做代理行星王子的，这个至少是名义的责任吧，但是现在还没有来，不知道什么时候来。然后在他来之前呢，就是这个玉兰下政府呢，不太可能发生任何明显的变化。
So they say that as acting planetary prince, he would undoubtedly continue in charge of the planet until the final adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion. Now, and probably on into the distant future. Of planetary settlement and light and life. So it's not clear to me. When we read about the Lucifer rebellion, maybe we'll understand it, but so far it has not been clear to me exactly when the final adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion is. But because this book was written now quite 70 years ago, well, 50, 75, 100, it's because it was written over a 20-year period. So, and it's now 2025. So it was written in 1955. So it was published 75 years ago, but it was written between 100 and 75 years ago. Because of that, a lot of things that they say in the book that they say are going to happen soon or might happen soon, it may have already happened because now it's 100 years later. So I don't know if the Lucifer rebellion the final adjudication has happened yet. We know Lucifer was taken off this planet and Satan, and they were put in like a prison planet. But we don't know when the adjudication is, like their final judgment, the ruling. It's like they go to court and they're, ruled with the Ancients of Days. So we don't know, but I don't know if that has already happened or if it's about to happen. But if it hasn't already happened, it will be happening soon. So it says he would continue in charge of the planet until the final adjudication. Oh, well, and probably on into the distant future of planetary settlement in light and life.
这个书是出版75年前，然后传导呢100年前。它这上面说的好多的将要发生的，有可能已经发生。比如说那个代理行星王子马蒂文达莫基瑟德的到来啊，然后他来之后呢，就是路西法判断的最终裁决啊，这些在100年前传导的时候还没有发生，但是有可能是不是已经发生了，因为这个亘古常在着，它是要进行对这个判断的最终裁决嘛。裁决完了呢，是不是行星就会锚定在光与生命当中了？这些有可能还没有发生。
And so and that's another thing. We don't know. We know that our planet, all planets keep evolving until they are eventually settled in light and life. And when they're settled in light and life, they become almost like a Urantia world. They're very spiritual places, and people have a very long lifespan. And very few people reject their thought adjuster. Most people go right to the Urantia world. A lot of them translate directly without even the 3-day travel. Remember, we've talked about that, this like spontaneous human combustion where they burst into this sort of flames and then they're suddenly on the Urantia world. But we don't know exactly when. The book doesn't say exactly how long it's going to take us to be settled in light and life. Will it be 500 years? Will it be 2,000 years? Will it be 5,000 years? We don't know. We can guess, but we don't know.
所有的星球有生命的星球生命都在持续的进化，然后呢，它的最后这个行星进化到锚定在光与生命当中的时候，就几乎就类似那个灵智性宅下世界。就是那上的人寿命都很长，灵性非常的高，然后基本上很少有人会拒绝，直接就是转移到这个灵智世界。就是他能想象的直接转移，就是那种就是好像自体焚毁，就是自然 通过自燃，然后就这个肉身直接燃了，然后他就转移了。这个是他这个能想象的，就是直接转移的一个方式。因为他也不知道到什么时候这个星球能够进化到那个程度，可能500年，也可能2000年。
So the book says, I mean, what we just read was that the Machiaventa Melchizedek will probably rule as our planetary prince on into, now they do say, the distant future of planetary settlement and light and life. And that was me talking about what light and life is and when it might come. That what it wasn't said here. That was me talking.
What did you say? What you talking?
Well, the last time before Ricky translated, I was saying that I was just talking about what light and life is, you know, and that I don't know when it will be and everything. And I forgot to say, this is me talking.
他就补充一下，猜测这个什么时候，那个锚定在光与生命当中啊，500年、2000年的，这是他的猜测，不是月亮下之书上这么说的。
What the book says is that Machiaventa will probably rule as our planetary prince. It says on into the distant future of planetary settlement in light and life. So they do say distant future. So that means it's not going to be 200 years. We know that distant future sounds to me like thousands of years.
这个马奇文塔莫迪瑟德什么时候来作为代理行星王子呢？就是那个是会发生在遥远的未来，那么他就猜想，那么这个不会是200年。
And then the last paragraph is some believe, so they don't know when he'll come to the planet, but some believe that he will not come to take personal direction of Urantia affairs until the end of the current dispensation. Now, I don't even know when the end of the current dispensation is, but it'll probably be, this is me talking. I don't know when the end of the current dispensation is, but it's probably when the Lucifer rebellion is adjudicated, that will probably be the end of a dispensation.
就是行星代理行星王子呢，什么时候来呢？大概就是要等到现在的当前的天命时代的末期，他来主理预览下的事物。那么他这个当前天命时代什么时候结束呢？他是在猜大概路西弗就是被这个叛乱被裁决的时候。
And then it says, others hold that the vicegerent prince, that's Machiaventa, may not come until Michael sometimes returns to Urantia as he promised when he was still in the flesh. So this is me talking. When Jesus was here, he said, I think he said more than once, that he would return to Urantia. And the Urantia book also says that he will return, but after we're settled in light and life. So a lot of the apostles thought that he was going to return, in a couple weeks or a couple months. They were all always waiting for him to come back. But the Urantia book tells us that he definitely will not return until the planet is settled in light and life. But then he will definitely return. That's me talking.
这第4段的时候，有些人认为马基文达的这个第二句，对，就是说有可能在行星王子，按照不是在迈克尔，就是耶稣基督哈，在肉身的时候许诺，再回到预览下的时候，他代理王子才会再来。那么实际上这个 耶稣在世的时候，的确在他入生的时候，他的确许诺过他会再回月亮下。有可能他会在我们的星球，在铆定在光与生命当中以后，他才会回来。那当时的人以为他说啊，我会再回来，也许是几个星期吧，几个月以后。
So there's three possibilities. Some people believe he won't come till the end of the current dispensation. I'm guessing that's probably the end of the adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion, whenever that will be. It could be now, could have already happened. Others hold that he will not come until Michael returns, when the planet is settled in light and life. That's the, as they say, the distant future. And then it says, others hold that the divine may not come until Michael returns as he promised, right? Still others, the third viewpoint, including this narrator, so including the chief of the Seraphim on this planet who wrote this paper. I don't know why he calls himself a narrator and not a writer. That's interesting. Look for Melchizedek's appearance any day or hour. Now, if this was written 100 years ago, that means he could already be here. If he, he may even be here now, we don't know. But any day or hour means any day or hour.
Yeah. 那么这最后一段呢，实际上给出3种的可能性。这个代理行星王子什么时候来？第一种，认为就是说目前的天命时代结束，然后这个路西佛就是叛变受到裁决。然后第二种呢，可能就是迈克尔之子回来在遥远的未来。第3种呢，就是说这个叙述包括就是写这一篇的，或者叫叙述者这个天使长在内，他就是期待这个这莫吉瑟的马基文塔呢，莫吉瑟的就是任何时候都可能出现那是100年前这么说，那也许有可能现在已经到来了。
Now, this was written by the chief of Seraphim on Urantia. So he's in charge of all the angelic cores, all the angelic beings who are really it's really the main bulk of the government of Urantia. He's the chief. So if he thinks that Macaventa might come any day or hour, I trust his judgment, because I think he would have great insight, because he's actually almost practically running this planet. He's like I don't know what you'd call it, the chief executive officer, or the he's very high up in the planetary government, and that's what he thinks. Now, I think that because we're now, I am positive that we're entering a spiritual age right now, that this is a big turning point for the planet. So that would make me think that he would want to be here for this, that Macaventa Melchizedek is probably here already. That's my guess.
对。这个传述这一篇的是就是居住，等一下哈，我要给猫开一下门。
Okay.
住在yeah, sorry, I'm back. I just let the cat out. 那个就是传述这篇文章的是就是在我们星球上这个行星政府的大天使长嘛，那么他是相当于就是非常高的级别的相当于知识管理者， 相当于那个我是比较信任他的这个洞见，因为他实际上是做管理这个星球的许多事务的，相当于一个公司的执行长、最高执行长一样的，所以呢，你看现在呢，就是说我们星球呢进入一个灵性飞跃发展的这个时代，就是也有可能我们的这个代理行星王子啊，玛吉文塔有可能已经来了都不一定。
So we can sum this section up by saying since Jesus left this planet, he is our planetary prince, and we are very, very fortunate to have the sovereign of the universe as our planetary prince. That's number one.
对，那么就是总结这一部分呢，你看，就是耶稣基督呢，他是我们的行星王子，但是他又是就是这个地方宇宙的造物主，所以我们这一方面也是非常幸运的。
Now, he established a council of 24, but they're to govern our planet and also the other quarantined planets, but they're all former Urantians. So that's another high honor for us. So the Council of 24 that is governing all the quarantined planets, there aren't that many, but all the quarantined planets in our system that rebelled during the rebellion, that were cut off, they were quarantined, they're all former Urantians. So he picked 24 people from our planet to govern all the isolated planets. So that's another high honor. So that's 2 high honors for us.
第二点呢，我们比较觉得荣耀的是这个24个这个成员组成的这个委员会啊，它就是管理那些的系统当中的隔离的星球，他们全都是由前预言下人组成的，就是所以这个又是另外一个我们觉得非常荣耀的地方。
I'm telling you, our planet is very famous in the universe. We are a very, very unique planet in this universe.
告诉你，这个我们这个星球是非常著名的，在宇宙当中。
Now, the third thing is that Melchizedek is now our acting planetary prince. And we don't know if he's on the planet now or if he's going to come at some point. This we don't know. But that's another very unique thing, to have a Melchizedek, and also a Melchizedek who lived on our planet. Even having a Melchizedek live on a planet is a unique thing. So to have a Melchizedek come and live on a planet and then become planetary prince is probably, I mean, we're probably the only planet in the whole universe that has such a setup. Everything about our planet is very unique.
第三个幸运点呢是马吉文达莫利瑟德呢，他现在是代理行星王子啊，那个不管是他已经来了还是将要来，因为他呢以前也是在我们的星球上生活过的啊，然后成为代理行星王子，就这样一个的安排也是非常独特的。
I see. What I'm saying is, Prince Caligastia was a Lananandek son. So planetary, the Adam and Eve's are material sons and daughters. We are mortal sons and daughters. The Lananandeks are all the planetary princes are Lananandeks. And Melchizedek's are teachers. So the different orders, the angels do different things. Oh, guardian angels can only be seraphim. The creators of the universe, the Michaels, they can only be sons, eternal creator sons. Everyone has a special order. So what we're seeing is a Melchizedek playing the role of planetary prince, which ordinarily would be the non-indec. So you would think that if Jesus appointed a new person to be planetary prince, not prince, but vicegerent prince, he'd pick a non-indec, because those are the people who are trained and almost created to do that job. But no, he picked the guy who lived here for 100 years. That's what I'm saying. It's very unusual.
我不知道了 Donidek 在这个玉书当中翻译成什么，反正就是他是迈克尔之子呢，他是造物之子嘛。Donidek 就是他说麦基瑟德这个是属于那个 Donidek 那个系列的，他们就是被训练来做灵性导师的。亚当夏娃呢是物质之子，这些概念大概是就是读第二部分大概才能了解。
So it's kind of, and then then we'll read section 2. But it's kind of like when the sovereign of the universe becomes your planetary prince, right? Which is one in 10 million chances, or less, because I think that in even, all creator sons have to live one life, their seventh bestowal life as a human or mortal on a planet. Yes. But they're not all, and they have to be born as a baby on that planet and live a whole life. Yes, that happens in every local universe. But they don't always get crucified like ours did. And I don't believe they always become planetary prince. And they don't necessarily always pick a rebellion planet that doesn't have a planetary prince. Nowhere in the book does it say that a bestowal son, a creator son, who is incarnated on a planet always picks a planet that has rebelled. It may be the case, but it doesn't say that in the book.
对，就是地方宇宙的管理者呢，然后成为行星王子，本身就是一个不太常见的一个，就是说事件，就是对这个行星来说是非常的一个荣耀吧。然后呢，他在我们的这个在这个又在一个叛乱的星球，然后生成一个人，就是化身成一个人，从一个小婴儿诞生开始就过完他的人生，并且还被人定死了。这个在地方宇宙当中也是非常非常罕见的。所以整个来讲，我们的行星就是在地方宇宙当中非常出名的，就是你把这个地方宇宙的造物主给他定死了，这个本身就是已经非常出名了。
And it also doesn't say in the book that when a creator son has his bestowal on a planet and has a life as a mortal being, that he then becomes planetary prince. Nowhere does it say that. Well, if there was a planetary prince, he wouldn't, but let's say it doesn't say that if a creator's son lives his seventh bestowal life, he becomes planetary prince. It doesn't say that. It just says that our creator son became our planetary prince. They say it as if that's a very unusual thing.
对，就是造物之子呢，他是被第7次赠予，然后到我们的星球生成一个 baby， 然后长大成人，然后成为一个就是跟我们一样凡人的存有，然后到最后为那个成为行星王子。
So when so for all I'm saying, and then we'll go to the next section, is that they're explaining our planetary government, but our planetary government is unlike any other planetary government. Everything about our planet is, not only did the rebellion change everything, but then the fact that Jesus picked our planet to have his life really changed everything. So we have, it's kind of like a double whammy. So we have everything. When your planet is the bestowal planet of a creator son, that automatically changes everything. So we're just, so even the people running our planet, like this chief of Seraphim, no one's really sure what's going to happen here. No one really knows. Everything is like unusual. It's like, what? Jesus is coming to Urantia. What? There's a rebellion. What? Jesus is coming to Urantia. What? We're going to have a council of 24. What? we're going to have Macaventa is going to be the, everything is unexpected and unusual. So they're always guessing about what's going to happen next because they really don't know, because no one's ever seen anything like this before.
这个特别之处呢，就是你看叛变的星球，然后这个造物之子呢，又在这儿进行这个凡人赠予，这些都是这个星球的特别之处。所以这个包括这个大天使长，他都不知道下一步都要发生什么，因为都是非常特别的，就是没有办法预测的，因为没发生过以前。
Imagine you could say it like the leader of the United States, or the Pope, or the president of the United States, or the leader of the UN, or the president of the United States. Suddenly, let's say everything goes wrong in New York City. Everything goes wrong. Then you get the leader of the United Nations, or he's not really that powerful, but like the leader of the president of the United States decides to be the mayor, says, okay, I'm going to be the mayor. But then he never really, then he appoints a group of people, a council to be the mayor. Now you've got a council of 24 who's the mayor of New York City, and you're going, well, that's never happened before. Then he says, no, I'm gonna appoint this college professor, a great college professor who spent a lot of time in New York. He's going to go and be the mayor, and and then someday I'm going to come and do it. The president. I mean, it's sort of like that. It's like, what's going on? No city has ever been run this way before.
他打了一个比喻啊，比如说什么联合国呀，然后美国，纽约城，然后比如说纽约城呢发生了什么事儿了，然后呢，美国总统呢说 OK， 我要亲自去做市长，然后呢他还没到任呢，然后指派了一个24人委员会来管理这个纽约城。后来呢，就又指派一个大学教授，说在纽约这个生活多年的大学教授说你来当代理市长吧。大概他就是这样的一个，谁也不知道到底发生了什么，或者将要发生什么。
So, okay, so let's read the next section. The next section is called the Board of Planetary Supervisors.
一会儿你来读，如果你还醒着的话，你来读这一篇的中文，好吧？
Since the times of Michael's bestowal on your world, the general management of Urantia has been entrusted to a special group on Jerusalem. That's the planetary of our local, that's the capital of our local system, of 24 one-time Urantians. Qualification, this is so interesting. Qualification for membership on this commission is unknown to us, but we have observed that those who have been thus commissioned have all been contributors to the enlarging sovereignty of the supreme in the system of Satania. Wow. By nature, they were all real leaders when they functioned on Urantia, and excepting Macaventa Melchizedek, these qualities of leadership have been further augmented by mansion world experience and supplemented by the training of Jerusalem citizenship. Members are nominated to the 24 by the cabinet of Lanaforge, seconded by the Most High of Urantia, approved by the assigned sentinel of Jerusalem, and appointed by Gabriel of Salvington, who's very high up, in accordance with the mandate of Michael. The temporary appointees function just as fully as do permanent members of this commission of special supervisors. Okay, you can read that.
And 第一段
OK，第一个，好来。自从迈克尔在你们的世界上被赐予以来，就把对伊朗沙的总体管理委托给了耶路圣母的一个特别小组。这个小组由24个前伊朗沙人组成。我们不知道这个委员会的成员资格条件，但我们注意到那些得到委任的人都是为在萨达尼亚系统中不断扩大至高者的主权做出贡献的人。从本质上讲，他们在伊朗沙工作时都是天生的真正领导者。而除了马基文达、莫基塞德之外，这些领导力的品质在上世界的经历中得到了进一步提升，并通过耶路圣母公民资格培训得到进一步增强。24名成员由兰纳福格内阁提名，伊甸萨极高者们赋予耶路圣母的配属岗效批准，并由瑟尔文顿的加百利根据迈克尔的授权任命。临时任命的成员就像这个特别的监督委员会的永久成员一样，充分发挥作用。
Okay. Okay. So this paragraph is basically pretty much just says that it explains the Council of 24. It says that these this part I thought was interesting, that it says the general management of Urantia has been entrusted to this group of 24. So that I would say they're like the governors of the planet. They're really in charge. And then it says qualification for membership is unknown. They don't know how they pick these 24, like what they have to do to qualify for this very, very sacred, very honorable position. But we have observed that this is so interesting. But we have observed that those who have been commissioned have all been contributors to the enlarging sovereignty of the supreme in the system of Satania. So maybe we'll understand that more when we read about the supreme in the next paper. But somehow they're telling us that a human being can, in a mortal life, can somehow enlarge the supreme being in the local system they live in.
对，就是这个24人的委员会，相当于一个代理总督一样的角色。那么组成这个24人委员会的人呢，他就提到这个这些成员呢，都是在撒旦尼亚，就是我们的系统里边那个，对不断扩大至高者的主权做出贡献的人。那么至高者呢，这个我们在下几篇当中都会，那个还会继续学习至高者。
And I said enlarging the supreme, but it says enlarging sovereignty of the supreme. So what does that mean? Rulership. Sovereignty is like leadership, rulership. So somehow one person can affect the ability of the supreme to rule in a local system, which seems to me very bizarre and very interesting.
他说到这些个人呢，他们相当于就是对不断扩大至高者的主权哈，在撒旦尼亚系统做出贡献。那么这个给我印象深刻，就是一个人哈，他可以影响至高者对这个当地系统的这个影响力啊。
I think we should read this to I think the insight should be that we should realize that our lives can have significance even beyond our world they can actually affect the state of our whole local system. I'm not saying one life will change the whole local system, but they're saying right here that that they think that they have observed that those who have been commissioned have all been contributors to the enlarging sovereignty of the supreme in the local system. So one life lived can contribute to the supreme's ability to affect or to rule. The supreme is so tied in. We're so tied into the supreme. Evolving creatures and the supreme are very well connected. So the supreme, it seems to be kind of dependent on us and our evolution to complete itself, to be the supreme ruler. He has to be. It's so well. We'll learn more about it next paper.
对，就是印象深刻，就是我们的生命哈。生活竟然能够给这个我们世界之外才产生这么巨大的影响，能够影响的系统，是我们的生命经历是直接跟那个神之至高者这是紧密的连接在一起的啊，并且神之至高者是实际上依赖于我们和我们的进化来获得扩大和成就的。
So in the last section, it said that our vicegerent, I believe it said that our vicegerent prince is always picked from one of the 24 members of the council.
Who proposed the name?
So I think I'm looking for it, but I'm pretty sure I read that the vicegerent planetary prince is always picked from one of the 24, and the 24, the Council of 24. So it says they're former Urantians. So I assumed they were former mortal beings, but Machiavellian Melchizedek is apparently on the Council of 24 because he is also a former Urantian because he lived here in the body of I think it was kind of a material, I think it was kind of a human body for 100 years.
代理总督呢，是从这个这24个曾经在伊人下生活过的人组成，就是从那里边选出来的。那么马基文塔、莫基瑟德呢，也算是他在伊人下生活过，因为他们在那儿生活了100年嘛。那为什么 why is that except Mark Winter Melchizedek Mark Winter Melchizedek is also he also is a real leader.
Wait, what are you saying?
我想不是的，就是马基文塔他不是24位委员会的成员，因为前面第一节说到，就是24位委员会会派一名常驻在玉染下，作为那个常驻总督，但是在那个莫基瑟德他被就是委任为那个代理的行星王子，然后前面是说就是常驻派一位24委员会其中一名的这种管理方式是会被莫基瑟德的到来所取代，所以他们两个是替代的关系。
对，这个常驻总督是从24个当中选的这么一个，但是当马基温达来了之后，代理总督他才就是说，实际上就取代了那个常驻总督，是吧？
对，被那个对，就是莫基瑟德会取代他，如果到来的话，他会取代那个常驻24委员会其中的一人那个常驻总督，所以常驻总督跟那个代理行星王子是两个职位，不是一个职位。
What's going?
What I Lanaford, cabinet of Lanaford, who are they?
Oh, I was afraid you might ask.
Yeah.
Lanaford, I remember the name. I'm trying to think of who he was. I think he's a Verandadek's son. I think he might be the guy who took over. Lucifer was the sovereign of the local system, if I'm not mistaken. When he rebelled, I think Lanaforge took over. That's what I think, but not to guess. And it's seconded by the Most Highs of Urantia. Now, Urantia is on the constellations, I believe. I believe that's the capital of the constellations. So I think what they're saying is that, Lanaforge, I think is in charge of. I think he took over for Lucifer, and he's in charge of Satania. Jerusalem is the capital of Satania. That's our local system. So they're saying the members are nominated to the 24 by the cabinet of Lanaforge. Let's just say his cabinet is in charge of the system of Satania. Let's just guess that, because then it says seconded by the Most Highs of Urantia, the constellations. That's one step higher. Approved by the assigned sentinel of Jerusalem. Well, that would be back to the system capital. Jerusalem is the capital of Satania, our local system. So so it has to be approved by him and appointed by Gabriel of Salvington. Now, Gabriel, is the chief is Jesus Christ Michael's right-hand man of the whole universe. He's sort of the chief executive of the whole universe of Nebadon, in accordance with the mandate of Michael. So these 24, this council of 24 are actually appointed by Lana Forge, then the Most Highs of Urantia, then Gabriel of Salvington. So that, like, it goes all the way up. So these are very, very important positions that have to be approved by the second highest guy of the entire universe, Gabriel, who acts on the mandate of Michael. So it's almost like they have to be appointed by Michael himself, by Jesus himself. And Lana Forge, let's just say Lana Forge is
capital of our local universe, Seraphic.
I can look it up, but I think Lana Forge, I can look it up, but I think he might be a Verandadic son, like on the order of Lucifer. I think he might be running.
You mean the Sovereignty? Is Sovereignty the capital of the local universe?
Not
Sovereignty. 萨尔文顿，沈丽，你记得吗？萨尔文顿是不是地方宇宙的总督呢？
我查一下。
地方宇宙的 capital， 总，我就提到这个 Lana Forge 哈，兰纳福格是什么东西？然后他说就是路西佛不是叛变了吗？他是当地系统的总督，然后他叛变之后，大概是不是就被这个 Lana Forge 这个内阁所取代了？所以那个这24人委员会呢，就是实际上是由新的这个兰纳福格内阁提名，然后呢，伊甸夏最高者以那个伊甸夏是我们星座的首府吧？是再就是更高一点。
萨文顿是
I'm back. I somehow I lost my
再往上
I'm back. I lost my connection.
That's okay. 再往上，耶路撒冷是我们地方系统的撒坦尼亚这个地方系统的首府，反正他那个意思大概就是一级一级的都那个先提名，然后再往上，就是复议，再往上再有批准，就是一级一级的这种宇宙按它的级别，然后都得到了批准。像这24人委员会是这么组成的，这么形成的。Why the last sentence, the temporary appointees function just as fully as do the permanent members of this commission special supervisor?
Where do you see
the last sentence of the first paragraph in section 2. So sometimes is there any deputy to act on behalf of those permanent member?
Yeah, I remember reading that. I'm trying to find it. I can't. Oh, section. Oh, here, yeah. The temporary appointees function just as fully as do the permanent members of this commission. Yeah, I don't know why some people are just temporary appointees. I don't know.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, actually, it does explain that somewhere. I think there are temporary appointees because the Council of 24 is a permanent body, and a few of the members haven't been appointed yet because they're from future times on Urantia. Like there may be someone from this era that might be on the council, or from the next era. So they're leaving those seats open. So they fill them with temporary appointees. That's what that is.
对，他这解释了为什么会这个地方有临时任命的成员，因为这就是24个月尔夏人组成的委员会，有些还没有，还就是说来自未来的月尔夏人，所以那些席位是给他们就是空着的，然后暂时有任命的成员来填补这些的永久席位。只是临时任命的也会像永久成员一样充分发挥作用。Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So not because these are all great people who served on Urantia. They're like true leaders. They're very special. Like they actually mentioned a couple people that are on, like I believe someone named Enoch, who was a great prophet way before Jesus, and he was one of the people that I forget what they call it, translated, when you burst into flames and then your body's gone and you just go right to the Urantia world without dying. You don't experience death, you just translate into the Urantia world. You just burst into flames while you're still alive. But it's a great, it's not really flames, it's just a very blinding light and energy. And Enoch did that. And it's in the Bible, it says that he left in a chariot. They said they call it chariots of fire. Because some people must have seen him translate. So he was a great person. But so he is definitely on the board. Moses might be on the board. I forget who else, but we know we know Macaventa's on the board, and I think one or all of the apostles of Jesus are on the board too. I know at least, I'm pretty sure at least one of them is, but I think all of them might be, all 12. I'm not, well, definitely not Judas. He betrayed Jesus. But 11, I think, are on. I'm not sure. We can check. There's another section that talks more about this.
对，这24人当中就是有那个以诺嘛，以诺当然远在这个耶稣来这个第7次赠予之前就有了，在旧约里记载的人物，他就是直接的，就是相当于白日飞升一样，就直接就是坐着火焰的火车就飞升了，就离开了，他们直接就是转移到在下世界去了。他说摩西对也在这24个成员当中，马基文塔，还有一些耶稣的门徒。
Ricky, let me interrupt because I think I was wrong. Don't say about the apostles because I think I was wrong about that, and I don't think there's another. This is the section that mainly talks about it. We're going to find out more as we read further in the section, but don't say the stuff about the apostles.
Yeah, 他纠正一下，这个门徒有可能不在，刚才是他说的不太准确。他说有大概以预言下之书当中有些章节专门提到这些委员会的成员读到了再说。他收回刚才说的关于门徒成员的这个说法。
So it says that they live their life on Urantia. Then they have further experience in the Urantia world, and then they study on Jerusalem. So they don't just become a board member right after they live on Urantia. They still have to go through the whole Urantia world experience and train on Jerusalem before they're chosen for this board.
对，不光是他们有这个在地球上生活的经验，他们还要到在下世界经历更多的培训，然后呢，对，在这个耶路撒冷，然后对，都经过培训，就是相当于他们都非常的有资格担当这个委员会的成员。
Okay, so the next paragraph. The Board of Planetary Directors is especially concerned with the supervision of those activities on this world which result from the fact that Michael here experienced his terminal bestowal. They are kept in close and immediate touch with Michael by the liaison activities of a certain brilliant evening star, the identical being who attended upon Jesus throughout the mortal bestowal. At the present time, one John, known to you as the Baptist, we'll read about him when we read the Jesus papers, is chairman of the council when it is in session on Jerusalem. But the ex officio head of this council is the assigned sentinel of Satania, the direct and personal representative of the associate inspector on Salvington and of the supreme executive of Orvanton. Wow, that's the super universe. Wow. You better read that.
Anne 读这两段。
OK，在这个行星领导委员会特别关注对这个世界上这样的活动的监督。那些活动源自迈克尔在这里经历他的最终赐予的事实。他们通过某位出色的某星的联络活动与迈克尔保持着密切而直接的联系。这位某星是在耶稣受难的整个过程中与他同在的人。接下来读吗？ 2.3。好，来，目前当这个委员会在耶路圣母开会时，一位被你们称为施洗者的约翰担任委员会主席，但委员会的前任领导人是撒旦尼亚的配属长校萨尔文顿上协同监察者和奥文顿至高执行者的直接个人代表。OK。
So we'll read about John the Baptist in the Jesus papers, but he was a very big part of the Jesus story. He was John the Baptist was Jesus's cousin, his actual cousin, but he was also the guy who came. He was the prophet who he lived in the same time as Jesus, but he started baptizing people and telling people that Jesus was coming. That was his message, was to tell the world that Jesus was coming. Our Savior, our Messiah was coming. And he's the only person who knew that. He's the only person who really knew who Jesus was and what he was. And he was actually happened to be his cousin. And he also they put him in prison and then they killed him when Jesus first started his ministry. So it's a very tragic thing. But now they say that this same guy, John the Baptist, is chairman of this council of 24.
施洗者约翰呢是一个先知嘛，他跟耶稣生活在同一个时代，同时是他的堂哥，他就是开始传天国的福音，然后给人受施洗，然后告诉世人说要来了，并且告诉世人耶稣是谁。然后他是后来是被拘禁、被杀害，然后对，就是那个耶稣开始传福音的时候，他被拘禁、被杀害了。然后这个施洗者约翰，他是这个24人委员会的委员会主席。
So they're saying before John because John had to die, and then he had to go through all the Urantia worlds and then training on Jerusalem. So when Jesus died, they couldn't, after Jesus died, he probably formed this council pretty soon afterwards. You know, soon in Urantia terms could be 100 years, 200 years, you know, it's different. But he couldn't make John the head of the council because John would have still been going through the Urantia worlds and training on Jerusalem. So they had so the head, the temporary head of the council was the ex officio head of this council. So the former head of the council before John the Baptist was the assigned sentinel of Satania. That's a local system of Satania where we live, the direct and personal representative of the associate inspector on Salvington and of the supreme executive on Orvonton. So what they're saying is that there's an assigned sentinel is a responsibility or a role in our local system, but this assigned sentinel of a local system represents the associate inspector on Salvington, that's our local universe headquarters, and on Orvonton, which is our super universe. So this was a very high being who was acting as head of the council before John the Baptist was appointed.
这个是2.3这一段哈，就是这一部分的第3段是提到这个撒旦尼亚的配属岗哨呢。撒旦尼亚说，当地系统，那么这个24人委员会的前任领导人就是这个撒旦尼亚的配属岗哨，就是实际上非常高的级别的，因为他是萨尔文顿，就是我们的当地方宇宙它的协同监察者。和这个奥温顿至高执行者的直接个人代表啊，这是他分配到这个我们的地方系统做那个配属岗哨。这个配属岗哨呢是这个24人委员会的主席。在那个实习者约翰take 这个职位之前，那个实习者约翰他就是他不是被迫害死了吗？死了，然后他要去到耶路撒冷，就是去到那个灵智性世界啊，耶路撒冷接受培训。他完成了这一个之后，相当于就接任了这个职位，从这个配属岗哨手里接过了这个职位。
So I'm going to try to read the next 3 paragraphs. And then we'll talk about it afterwards, after you read it. So the member, and it just does tell, I was right about Lana Forge. That's exactly who he is. So it tells us, and it tells us some other things we were wondering too. So, okay. The members of this same commission of former Urantians also act as advisory supervisors of now we know how many, of the 36 other rebellion isolated worlds of the system. They perform a very valuable service in keeping Lanaforge, the system sovereign, in close and sympathetic touch with the affairs of these planets, which still remain more or less under the over-control of the constellation fathers of Norlashadek. These 24 counselors make frequent trips as individuals to each of the quarantined planets, especially to Urantia. That's so wonderful. Each of the other isolated, I'm going to keep reading. Each of the other isolated worlds is advised by similar and varying sized commissions of its one-time inhabitants, but these other commissions are subordinate to the Urantian group of 24. Okay. While the members of the latter commission are thus actively interested in every phase of human progress on each quarantined world in Satania. They are especially and particularly concerned with the welfare and advancement of the mortal races of Urantia, for they immediately and directly supervise the affairs of none of the planets except Urantia, and even here their authority is not complete, excepting in certain domains concerned with mortal survival. Okay. No one knows how long these 24 Urantia counselors will continue in their present status, detached from the regular program of universe activities. They will no doubt continue to serve in their present capacities until some change in planetary status ensues, such as the end of a dispensation, the assumption of the full authority by Macaventa Melchizedek, the final adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion, or the reappearance of Michael on the world of his final bestowal. The present resident Governor General of Urantia seemed inclined to the opinion that all but Macaventa may be released for paradise ascension the moment the system of Satania is restored to the constellation circuits. But other opinions are also current. Okay.
And
这里
从2.4吧。
给2.4，这个由前玉兰沙人组成的同一个委员会的成员，还充当了系统中其他36个被叛乱隔离的世界的顾问、监察员。他们在使系统君主兰纳福克与这些行星的事物保持密切和睦的联系中，提供了非常有价值的服务。这些行星或多或少仍处于诺拉戈德星座之父的总体控制之下。这24位顾问经常以个人身份前往各个被隔离的星球，尤其是玉兰沙。2.5 其他每个被隔离的世界都由其曾经的居民组成的类似的不同规模的委员会提供咨询，但其他这些委员会都隶属于24人玉兰沙小组。玉兰沙人委员会的成员在积极关注撒旦尼亚每个隔离世界上人类进步的每一个阶段的同时，尤其特别关注玉兰沙凡人种族的幸福和进步，因为除了玉兰沙之外，没有一个行星的事物是由他们直接监督的，即使在这里，除了与凡人系存有关的某些领域之外，他们的权利也不是完全的。2.6 要读吗？
最后一段。
好了，2.6，没有人知道这24位玉兰沙顾问脱离开常规宇宙活动安排，而以他们目前的身份持续工作多久了？毫无疑问，他们将继续以目前的身份服务，直到行星状态发生某种变化，比如某个天命时代的结束。马基文塔莫基社的接管全部职权，路西法叛乱的最终裁决，或者迈克尔再次出现在他最终赐予的世界上。目前玉兰沙的常驻总督似乎倾向于这样的观点，即在 沙特尼亚系统恢复到星座环路的那一刻，除了马基文他之外的所有人都可能被放出去而扬升入天堂，但同时也有其他的观点。好了，OK。
Heidi, are you muted?
记得路西法就是我们以前的系统君主，那现在这个莱纳福德是继任者吗？
对，他的那个
纳福格。
对，兰纳福格。等一下，给猫开一下门。Heidi, we cannot hear you. Are you muted or is speaker has problem?
My dog wanted to go out for a third time. He just wants to keep going outside. I don't know why. Okay, so did you just finish?
Yeah, we finished reading section 2, the
Okay,
last
good.
paragraph.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's talk about it. All right, so where did we start? The members of the same commission or at the
Yes.
present time?
The members of the same
Okay,
commission.
okay. The members of this commission are also like this. Okay, so before they told us that that this commission that that this was the commission for all of the rebellion world in the system of Satania, and it's true, but it says here that there's 36, so that's how many. So the Lucifer rebellion involved, including us, 37 planets rebelled during the. Now there's about 1,000 planets. I don't think they're all they may not all be inhabited yet, and they probably don't all have planetary princes yet. So, but out of about 1,000, or maybe 600, or however many are already have planetary princes, I would say 6, maybe 700, or 800, however many, 900, 37 rebelled. So this commission that was set up of former Urantians is in charge of the. They're not really governing all our planet. Like I said, they're not really in charge of our planet and all the planets. It says in this section that we just read, it says they're really involved with the mortal survival. That's their main interest. So they're involved in planetary affairs, but their focus is on mortal survival. And they are the highest governing body in one sense of what they do. So it says that every other planet also has a commission, but that this commission is in charge of all of them.
哦，这两段都提到了，然后就是这个我们的地方系统当中，就是有这个系统有37个背叛的星球。这个大概在我们的整个系统当中，是不是有多少个？1000个左右，600到1000个。它是 这个可居住人的，或者是有行星王子的星球，反正就是至少这个系统当中有37个被判啊，这37个就是我们院下也是其中一个嘛。然后呢，说其他36个，我们这个院下人组成这个委员会，同时还就是求给他们的委员会提供顾问服务，就做顾问监察员。
So they're saying that the rebellion planets are, that we were all quarantined. So when that happened, we kind of, because our system sovereign rebelled, that was Lucifer, we became under the other planets were under the jurisdiction of their planetary princes, but we now had no planetary prince and no system sovereign. So the rebellion planets all came under the over control of the constellation fathers of Norlashadek. So that's higher than the system. So every system is part of a constellation. So those are higher governments, the constellation. So we're still under the over control of the constellation, because until we're not quarantined anymore and until the Lucifer rebellion has been adjudicated, we will still be under the over control of the constellation fathers.
对，就是在隔离星球上，就是没有行星王子，因为我们的系统背叛呢，是相当于我们也没有系统总督，所以这个总的这个管理权就到了星座的那个级别，就是这个星座的这个现在叫诺拉谢德星座之父，他的总体控制之下啊，一直到。
So it says that they advisory supervisors to the 36 other rebellion worlds. So it's like they're not really in charge. They're not quite advisors. They're not quite supervisors. They're kind of a combination of advisory supervisors. So they're kind of a above them in status. They're kind of in charge of all of them, but they're really mostly act as advisors.
这个就是为其他36个被判断隔离的世界提供他叫顾问监察员啊，又是顾问又是监察员啊，这样的一个综合的这么一个角色。
And it says that another valuable service that they perform is they keep Lana Forge. Now it says here that Lana Forge is the system sovereign, and that's what Lucifer was before he rebelled. So our local system, Satania, has a sovereign, a ruler, like a king, and that's Lana Forge. Now it's Lana Forge after Lucifer. So it says that this same council keeps Lana Forge closely in touch with the affairs of these planets. So because they're advising all of the rebellion planets, they're very involved with all of them. So they know what's going on. They're in touch with all of them. And then they keep Lana Forge apprised of all the affairs of these local isolated planets.
他们就是那个就取代路西弗的这个君主兰纳福德哈，是系统君主嘛，然后这些的顾问监察员就是使这个系统君主对这些的隔离星球上的事物呢，就是给他提供信息，提供有价值的服务。
So it says as part of their responsibility of advising and supervising all of the rebellion worlds, they make frequent trips as individuals. Each of the 24 make frequent trips to all of the quarantined planets, but especially to Urantia.
对，他们就经常个人身份来来往往哈，去那些被隔离的星球。当然，他们就是对月亮下那等来的更多了。作为一个顾问，作为顾问监察员，作为直接的我们的就是这个委员会管理我们星球，他们经常个人身份来往。
Now, if you were John the Baptist and you were visiting Urantia, what would you want to do? You'd want to go to a Urantia study group.
那你如果你是那个施洗者约翰哈委员会主席，那你来月亮下，你要来就光顾哪里？他说，哎，他往往会光顾这个学习月亮下的这个学习小组。
And you'd probably want to go to the one who is reading about him right now.
有可能就是被谈到他的月亮下学习小组所吸引。
So that means John the Baptist might be with us in this study group right now.
他说，哎，他这种猜测有可能施洗者约翰就跟我们在一起现在。Why not?
Why not? And especially because I was just reading about him in the Bible, and I was thinking a lot about him this week.
他说这个星期他就重读这个圣经当中关于施洗者约翰的部分，这个星期他想的很多。
I'm not surprised that he's the supervisor of the council, because he was a very, very extraordinary person.
对，我一点都不奇怪他怎么能成为这个委员会的主席，因为他是一个非常特别的人。
So yeah, so okay. Let me read. Explain the next part. What does the next paragraph say? Each of the other isolated worlds is advised by. Okay, so then they say the other worlds is advised by similar and varying sized commissions of its one-time inhabitants. So the other isolated worlds also have a commission of former inhabitants of their planets, but it says of varying sizes. So they're probably not all 24. There might be 10 people or 15 or 5. We don't know. Different sizes.
对，就是其他被隔离的世界也是由各自的委员会哈，就是组成这些委员会也是由曾经的居民哈，不同规模，就是说不一定是24个这他们组成他们自己的管理委员会。
So it says the Urantia group, this group of 20, this commission we're reading about is interested in every phase of human progress on each quarantined world in Satania, but they are especially and particularly concerned with the welfare and advancement of the mortal races of Urantia, for they immediately and directly supervise the affairs of none of the planets except Urantia. So yeah, so the other commissions are the direct supervisors of their planets, but this commission is the direct supervisors and advisors of our planet. So they're mostly concerned with our planet, but they also advise the other commissions who are each concerned with just one planet.
对，就是各自的星球的管理委员会，他们是直接那个管理，就是月下委员会只是对这些提供咨询。 不直接去管理。然后这个我们的24人委员直接的特别关注的是我们玉苒厦凡人种族的幸福和进步。
So they say that even here on Urantia, though, their authority is not complete. It's like they're not the planetary prince. They're not the complete government. They're very high, very much involved with the government, but their authority is not complete, excepting in certain domains concerned with mortal survival. So there's certain areas where they are the complete authority and total authority. And those areas have to do with mortal survival. And when we say mortal survival, we're talking about going on to, people who go on to the Urantia world and achieve eternal survival, as opposed to people who reject their thought adjusters, reject God, and don't survive. So in certain areas that concern survival, they are the complete authority. They are the bosses.
对，就说即使是在就是玉苒厦委员会，那么他管他对这个星球的事务，也不是就所有的面面俱到的全面的统治，他也就是说直接的监督和有权威的领域，就是你看与凡人续存有关的领域，他们有直接的权柄，可以就是在这个就是反正凡人的灵性成长方面，他们有这个权利是完全的。
So ordinarily, a person dies, goes to the Urantia worlds, goes on to Jerusalem, lives there for a long time, does all kinds of training, goes on to the constellations, does all kinds of training for millions of years or a million years or however long, goes on to the system, to the universe capital, et cetera, and then on to the super universe. So these guys, these 24 guys, they're not doing that. They're not going on with their normal universe progression. They're stopped. They're on like a detour. It's like when people take that decide to go and travel the world before they go to college, right? It's like that. They postpone their progression. They don't want to go to college and go right to work. They have something else they want to do first. Well, that's what these guys are doing. They're very, very involved in this unique organization, but it means they're not progressing in the universe because we're all on our way to meet God. So they're postponing their regular activities.
一般就是我们就是这个凡人在生命结束之后呢，就去到在下世界啊，然后再就是学习了，然后去到耶路撒冷，就是然后再去到星座，去到经过100万的就是这些的然后去进展到系统，然后再到当地宇宙，再到主宇宙，反正就是扬升之旅嘛，就是那一路。他们本来应该是正常的是这样的那个扬升过程，但是呢，他们这24位成员的委员会的这些成员，他们就走弯路了。他们就绕了一下，他们就是相当于延迟他们的正常的进化之旅，然后就是在这个机构当中，这个委员会这个机构当中服务。
So it says no one knows how long they're going to remain the counselors, and then at some point detached from their regular program of universe activities. When they say regular program of universe activities, they mean what I just said, the the normal ascension program, where we leave our planet and eventually find our way to paradise, going as, doing a certain type of course. So that's what they mean by the detached from universe activities. So we don't know how long they're going to stay as counselors, but they will no doubt continue to serve in their present capacities until some change in planetary status ensues, such as the end of a dispensation, the assumption of full authority by Macaventa, the final adjudication of the Lucifer rebellion, or the reappearance of Michael when we're settled in light and life. The present resident governor general of Urantia. So there's even though they say that Macaventa has been assigned as the present governor, as our vicegerent planetary prince, there's a present governor of Urantia, which is, there's always a resident governor general, which is part of this commission. I think I was a little confused because I thought Macaventa was the assigned the resident governor general, but he was assigned the vicegerent planetary prince. So I hope I didn't confuse anyone with that, because I was confused. But all right, I better let you translate some of that.
对，就是最后一段呢，对，就是说这个，对他们这些人呢，要持续目前的这个临时的工作的身份持续，多久，然后然后再回到他们正常的养生之旅嘛，那肯定要就是行星状态发生一些变化，比如说天明时代的结束啦。马基文塔接管全部职权了，路西法判最终裁决了，然后迈克尔再次出现在这个预言下了，这都有可能造成他们说，目前的这个就不用不着在这儿服务了。然后呢，他有点就是没有搞清，就是现在他说常驻总督，目前常驻总督还有前面就是代理总督，那个马基文塔属于代理总督，现在的常驻总督，现在常驻总督就应该是24，就是现在就是24个当中的一个在这儿做那个常驻总督这个角色。
So there's always one person from the group of 24 who is the governor general and who takes residence on Urantia. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying.
Yeah, 对，这就是我刚才说的，就是总是24个当中的一个在这儿做这个常驻总督这个角色。
Sorry, and the current resident, they don't say who it is, but the current resident governor general, it believes that all the 2024 beings on Urantia, except Macaventa, who's a Melchizedek, might be released for the Paradise Ascension, their regular progression, the moment the system of Satania is restored to the constellation circuits. That means we're not quarantined anymore. The current resident governor general, who's on the board of 24, is saying, listen, as soon as we're not quarantined anymore, we're all going to, stop being on this board of directors, and we're going to go on to paradise. But other opinions are also current. So other people believe, no, these guys are going to stay even after the planets aren't quarantined anymore. They're going to stay around and keep governing for maybe until the planet is settled in light and life or something else. So there's different opinions. And I know we have to wrap this up so you can get going soon.
Yeah.
But we did finish 2 sections.
Great. 对，现任常驻总督呢，就是倾向于认为，就是当萨勒尼亚系统恢复到星座环路那一刻，也就是说结束了隔离状态，那个时候呢，这个除了马基温塔之外的所有人，因为马基温塔他实际上他也不是一个阳生凡人，他本来就是那个就是属于下降的那个神主吧，所以其他人可能都被放出去。扬升入天堂啊，继续他们的天堂养生之旅啊。当然，他说同时也有其他的观点，其他观点也许就是说啊，只有这个我们星球就是锚定在光与生命当中，然后才有可能，放这些人去进入他们的养生之旅，正常的养生之旅啊，或者也有些观点可能认为他们会继续留在这里做服务。而就是继续就是偏离开这个他们的正常的养生之旅，反正这些不同的观点吧。OK.
So this is so interesting. And I'm glad that John the Baptist joined us for this meeting.
我是很高兴这个施洗者约翰能够参加我们的学习，对他的临在，他很相信这个施洗者约翰跟我们一起。
You know, we're laughing, but for all we know, he is here. We wouldn't know if he was here.
对，就是我们
we better be nice. We better be nice just in case.
我们要好好表现，万一他在呢，对吧？开玩笑，开玩笑。
I love John the Baptist.
他说我很热爱这个施洗者约翰。
Did Shen Li and does anyone have any questions before we go?
有什么问题吗？现在还有几分钟，因为我10点有会。
No, no question. Thank you.
You know, there's just one quick thing I want to say because I've been thinking about it so much. And that is that, you know, we talk about talking to our thought adjuster and our psychic circles and communicating and hearing the voice and all that stuff. And I just want to say that it's like meeting your husband. Okay, I don't have a husband, but I can imagine. You know, some people, they meet at a party, they fall madly in love. They go, that's the guy I'm going to marry. Some people, they're best friends for 20 years. And then they realize that that's the guy they want to marry. You know, I mean, what I'm saying is there's no one way to get close to God. There's no one way to hear the voice of your thought adjuster. It can happen in 1,000 different ways. But the best way to start is to knock on the door, to just go to his house, knock on the door and say, hello, I'm here, let's talk. In other words, to pray, start praying, start talking to him. And eventually your relationship will develop. And how it develops is unique for each person. Maybe you'll have a dream, maybe you'll have a feeling, maybe you'll have an instinct, maybe you'll have a warm, wonderful feeling. You know, it's good to light candles. It's good to listen to music. That it's good to shut your mind off and think spiritual thoughts, you know, or nothing, and let the thoughts come to you. But basically, there is no one way. It's a relationship, and you just have to be open for it to develop. And if you are open and if you want that relationship, I can guarantee, I mean, you probably already have it, but I can guarantee you will have it. And because I'm talking to everyone who ever listens to this tape, not just my friends here. So I just wanted to say that because I've been thinking about it a lot.
我心理圆圈是跟思想调整者交流了，就是你不是通过一种方式来跟思想调整者交流，很多种方式，只是有一点他那个就是说要敲门，要祷告要每个人都是有他独特的方式来就是打开这个跟思想者 交流的管道，有可能是在梦中啊，有可能通过直觉，有可能通过一些非常棒的感受啊，就保持思想开放，让思想自由的流过你，就是你只要想建立跟向朝圣者的关系，一定会建立成的。
And I'll just say one more sentence because I know Ricky has to go. But imagine you had a father who loved you and you ignored him your whole life. You were with your friends, you were off with your boyfriend, you were off with your cousin, you were traveling. You always ignored your father. And then one day you said, you called him up on the phone because he lived in another place. And you said, Dad, I really want to be closer to you. I really want to have a relationship with you. Of course he would say yes. Of course he would want to have a relationship with you. It's just he's loved you the whole time. He's been there the whole time. It's been you who's been ignoring him, not him who's been ignoring you. So that's so you don't have to worry about.
对呀，还给一个比喻啊，比如说你就是跟父亲哈，非常的隔离，就是疏远，你就是一直是跟朋友在一起啦，堂兄堂弟啦，其他亲人，去关系都很好。有一天你突然想起来，你想起父亲来了，你跟父亲打电话说，父亲，我想跟你住的近一些，好像跟你更亲密一些。他当然会说，好啊，太好了，因为他一直就是爱你的，等待着你的，所以这个就是一个比喻，就是说我们的神，我们的思想调整者，他一直在等待我们打开跟他的一个交流的通道，只在于我们的回转。
Okay, I'll let you go, my beloveds.
Yeah, wonderful session.
That's wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, my beloveds.
Thank you so much. Every session is wonderful. We learn a lot every time.
Me too. I learned so much. I learned so much by next week. I love you all. I'll see you all next week.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.